Mo, welcome. First, how did you and Kevin meet? Tell me about the synergy that happened when you guys connected.
So Kevin and I met about 5 years ago. I was just founding the company. The company was at really early stage. Kevin had some really constructive comments when we were founding the company, and we took those into account, grew and matured the story and the company a bit further before Kevin joined. He joined as soon as we delivered what he was concerned about initially. He joined the company, and since then we've been.
Well, I joined as an investor.
Yeah.
I haven't had a job in about 25 years.
Yeah. Exactly. So he joined us by investing in us early on, and he's been supporting us ever since. We've been growing over the past 5 years, predominantly going after powered assets. We purchased our first asset in 2021. It's our Norway flagship asset. We right now have 40 megawatts live on that site. We're expecting to grow this year up to 110 megawatts. Power is set to come online within 2026, which no other operator in Europe could claim from what we know in the market, which puts us in a really good position to leverage the power demand that we see in the market today. As you might have seen, we made a big announcement yesterday, and that's around those 110 megawatts. We're directing them towards GPU clusters, and they're set to give us stabilized cash flows for 15 years and significant ones to that, so approximately 150 million of operating income per annum.
So Kevin, I mean, you were talking about being early to collectibles, to watches, to all the other things that you're involved with. What was interesting when you meet Mo and you say, hey, this is a business I want to be in, were you already thinking about it, or did Mo sort of help you get there?
No, it was very simple. We talked about the theme of power. This company has extraordinary power contracts from hydro and nuclear power, extraordinary. Some cases, sub 3 cents a kilowatt hour. That was, as an investor, I said, the only way this company loses is they have lack of executional skills, because everybody's going to come knocking on the door. They have land, they have power, they have permits, they have fiber. I mean, in Norway alone, they're already operating there off hydro. So unless it's a lack of executional skills at the management level, how can I go wrong? And so far, I've been right, because everybody knocks on their door. They want the power, they want the permits. And they're in places now where there's no drones dropping missiles on them. I mean, this is a new theme in data centers now. We really have to start thinking about building domestically in areas where we can protect them, because each gigawatt of compute is 1.4 gigs. That's $15 billion of investment in debt and equity. You can't screw around with that. I mean, you've got to have a place where it's safe, and certainly the Nordic regions where Mo is operating, Bit Zero, to me, that's a safe jurisdiction. And he's right, very few locations in Europe can you get permitted now, and he's got them.
And Mo, backstage, you were talking a little bit with me. I was asking about what the global demand for power is even looking like. Sort of talk to our audience about how big that demand is right now.
So over the past, we'd say, year, the power demand kept just growing and growing with all the large hyperscalers and other large tech conglomerates looking to roll out masses of capacity and roll out GPU capacity all over the world. As an example, a single one of those hyperscalers was visiting one of our sites in Finland a few weeks ago. And we had a meeting with the local authorities and the mayor. They stated something that was really, even to me, that scale made me fall off my chair. They were asking for 1,000 megawatts per annum in Finland alone. So imagine the demand globally. And that's not even one of the largest operators. So that tells us what the big 3 or 4 would be rolling out in capacity in comparison. So if a small player is looking for 1,000 megawatts a year in a single country, what's the whole market looking for globally? Even if we say that it's 1,000 megawatts in every power-rich country a year for every one of the hyperscalers, we're looking at tens of thousands of megawatts over the next year or two. That is definitely going to have a strain on power grids all over the world. We are located in Finland and in Norway, which for us is really advantageous. They're the most stable grids in the world. Especially Finland is well known for being the most stable grid in the world. Both grids are fed by the best and most stable renewable energy sources, nuclear energy predominantly in Finland, with a mix of wind and solar to support on the grid. And in Norway, it's a 99.9% hydroelectric grid. So it's the most stable form of renewable power. And the uptime we get, because of the quality of our power, is 99%. And that's 99.9% to be precise. And that's an uptime that you wouldn't have, especially in the US, because of curtailment and other things that you need, like that the operators need to do to support the grid, which for GPU deployments are a burden or a hurdle, as those need to be running on 4 nines. And we can deliver that. We also work with the best-in-class engineering, EPC contractors, liquid cooling engineers to deliver the best-in-class direct-to-chip cooling that is required for the next-gen GPU technologies.
Kevin, I think about, you're on the media constantly, you're talking to people and trying to really convince them about your thesis. I see people who are sort of contradicting themselves. They're big AI users, and they're also saying, I don't want a data center near me. I think there's something that doesn't sort of jive with the idea that we all love this emerging technology, but we don't want to sort of have it in our backyard. How do you explain to people, no, this is where we need to be and where we need to go as a society?
So there's a massive re-education that has to occur given the experience Virginians had in Virginia. It was poorly thought out by the industry at that time. This is a decade-old problem, and there's a groundswell of activists. We had a situation in Utah yesterday on a vote on our new facility in Box Elder County, where it was very concerning because I don't like to see people being bussed in to be professional protesters, which is what I believe occurred there. And they put a lot of pressure on the local people that live in Utah. And luckily, because of social media is so immediate and transparent, it became clear to the residents of Utah that these people who were not from their state were trying to influence a decision that affected their economics. And of course, they voted for the project unanimously. So the idea of hired guns in America today to protest isn't going to work because of the power of social media. Within minutes, they were called out. And the commissioners there said, is anybody here from Utah? Anybody in this room? Anybody from Utah? I mean, that's the kind of question they were asking. And so I think I'm a little more positive and optimistic about how we're going to deal with this. I'm certainly an advocate for competing with the Chinese. Everybody knows that, and we got to get going. We are going to need data centers. We're going to do a better job. And I put this thought in your head. I think I'm the only guy in the world developing data centers that graduated from environmental studies.
All right, well, we're going to leave it on that.
I was just trying to meet girls.
All right, Kevin O'Leary, Mo Bakashwain, thank you guys so much. Thank you for paying attention.
Thank you.